A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Lord, to you, Lord.
Jesus entered a village where a woman whose name was Martha welcomed him. She had a sister named Mary, burdened with much serving, came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do the serving? Tell her to help me." The Lord said to her in reply, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The first reading in the Gospel speak a bit of hospitality and of welcoming. And I think back about 7 years ago when I first came here to St. Francis Cabrini, and how welcoming and kind that you were to me as you are to one another as well. And as my time at St. Francis comes to an end next June, along with Kirsten, our time is up here as far as an assignment at St. Francis Cabrini. It makes me think about how hospitable and kind you've been, just like in the readings today. In the first reading, Abraham welcomes the three men who come to him. He insists that they not go by, that do not pass from his sight and his home until he's bathed their feet and given them something to eat. And for their hospitality, Sarah will be blessed with their son, their only son, Isaac. His hospitality is going to be rewarded. In the Gospel, we hear the story of Jesus visiting some of his best friends, Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. And Martha, who is Saint Martha, is burdened with much serving, is how St. Luke explains it. She's concerned with the details of hospitality. And so she complains to Jesus, "Do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." And Jesus answers essentially, no. No, I don't care that she's not helping you, and no, I'm not going to tell her to help you. That's not my concern. It's simply that Jesus assures her, you're anxious and you're worried about a lot of things. You're burdened with many, many things and many good things. Hospitality and welcoming, those are good things. However, Mary's chosen to be hospitable in a different way by paying attention to me and being here with me, listening to me. And she's not going to be deprived of that kind of hospitality. In the Gospel, then, teaches us a few things about what it means to be hospitable and what it means to be welcoming. First, being hospitable means serving, right? Putting ourselves at the service of other people, and it requires a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And it's always appreciated by God. I'm not sure we can ever be too hospitable in the eyes of God. Being hospitable isn't just about physical and practical things, but it's also about paying attention to somebody, is what Jesus teaches us. Someone can be doing a lot of things and making your life easier, or your stay or your visit easier, but maybe they pay no attention to you whatsoever. And that's not being very welcoming or being very hospitable. There is a certain amount of paying attention to somebody that puts a person at ease. Being hospitable, then, means that we put our guests at ease by not being anxious and worried about many, many things. Because anxiety and worry are sometimes contagious, right? Just like peace and calm and tranquility are also contagious. And then finally, sometimes us being hospitable leads to resentment on our part, right? If we're the only ones who are serving, the only ones who are being welcoming, it's easy to build resentment in our hearts when we do it alone. We think that someone else who could be helping me is not helping me, so why aren't they? And it's not that Jesus approves of any kind of laziness on the part of Mary in the Gospel. Jesus is just opposed to too much anxiety and worry, too much busyness, and he enjoys, actually, it seems, having the time to interact with somebody. Sometimes being hospitable builds some resentment in our hearts, but it's good for us to set that at ease as much as possible. So for us, some of the things that we take away from the Gospel today, on hospitality, it's one of the 4 values of our Diocese of San Bernardino. One of the 4 ways that Bishop Barnes wants us to be good Christians in parishes, in our homes, and in our diocese. Hospitality is one of the 4 core values of our diocese, to welcome the stranger among us. Hospitality is also a lot easier when, like Abraham, you can see God in the person, right? If you can see Jesus behind the person you serve, then you do so with a lighter heart and much joy. Mother Teresa had that great gift to be able to see Jesus in all of the people that she was serving. Unfortunately for us, we don't always see Jesus in the people that we're serving, but what's more important is that we're still hospitable in the meantime. And then finally, hospitality means making other people feel welcome. Both the people that you do know, maybe the ones that you see every single day in your home, but also the stranger too. Jesus reminds us at the end of Matthew's gospel, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. One of the basic things that we're judged on at the end of time. Do you welcome people who come to you? Stranger and non-stranger. Even the ones that are in our homes, sometimes we don't always make them feel very welcome. Hospitality in some sense is a Christian virtue. It's certainly a Christian practice. It comes very easily to some people, very difficult to others. Some people are naturally welcoming and hospitable. Some people don't seem to care. They stay far away from making other people feel welcome. Here at St. Francis Cabrini, you're a very welcoming and hospitable community. When we've done surveys in the past in the pews, you mention it as one of the hallmarks and highlights of this parish. Even when people come for different occasions, just for 1 or 2 Sunday masses, or I see them after a funeral or a wedding, one thing they remark upon is how warm this community is. Part of that has to do with the church building itself, but a bigger part, as people tell me, is how welcome you make them feel. And that's not something they probably tell you, but it's something that they tell me that I pass on to you, something for you to be proud of. It's a good thing that you do when strangers who walk through our doors and come here for Mass feel welcome. It's not so much me as it is all of you. And that's something for you to be proud of and something for you to keep up. So that when the next priest comes, the next pastor and leader of the community comes next July, you need to be just as hospitable and welcoming to him as you've been to me, to Kirsten, even to the other people that come into the parish. So that you're kind and loving towards him, that you see Jesus in him, you make him feel welcome, you listen to him, you do some of the kind things for him. Jesus reminds us in the gospel and in the readings today, it's always good for us to be kind, hospitable, and welcoming to others. As we serve others, especially the strangers who come to us, we serve Jesus himself.